Joining me now, perhaps the best guest possible on this topic, Chris Fenton is a media exec, a film producer, author of Feeding the Dragon, Inside the Trillion-Dollar Dilemma Facing Hollywood, the NBA, and American Business. Chris, you've actually worked with John Cena before. What was your reaction to see him grovel that way?
Yeah, it was really difficult to watch. I felt for him because he's actually a great guy and he's a great talent and he's a heck of an athlete. He's caught in this terrible sort of battle royale between national security interests in D.C. and the business lobby. And on top of it, you got human rights issues and you have censorship issues, freedom of speech issues. And it's all involving the dynamic between the U.S. and China relationship and how we need to disrupt it, and we need to disrupt it quickly because we're running out of time.
Now, there was a pretty ridiculous change, remember, made to that reboot of Red Dawn. So that was the 80s, classic kind of goofy film in a way. But it was originally about a group of Americans that resisted China's occupation of the United States. It used to be Russia in the original, then changed to China. But after filming was completed, the movie makers transformed the antagonists into like North Korean soldiers, including they digitally altered the Chinese flags and insignias into the North Korean ones. So, Chris, that's just one small example, but you say there's a longer term retaliation risk with producers offending China. So what happened here?
Well, look, that's a ripple effect from 1997, where we had Red Corner, 7 Years in Tibet, and Kundun all come out. And we still see Richard Gere and Brad Pitt facing the retaliation of the CCP in China because both of them have a very difficult time marketing their wares as actors in that market. Red Dawn's a perfect example of that 20 years later in regards to how they tried to portray the Chinese army, the PLA, People's Liberation Army, and the Chinese government as the antagonists, as the villains in that film. And when China heard about that, they mandated both to MGM and Sony, the studios involved, you better change that. You better change it quick because you're never going to get access to that market if you release the movie as is. And those studios relented and they changed it to make it North Korea as the enemy.
Well, and then Judd Apatow explained that, China can just squash films before they're even made.
Yeah, I want to write a movie about the concentration camps in China and Muslims in concentration camps. I want to write a movie about someone who escapes. No one would buy the pitch. Instead of us doing business with China and that leading to China becoming more free, what has happened is a place like China has bought our silence with their money.
Chris, substitute Nazi Germany for China here. We did this with the Soviet Union. We did not do business with the Soviet Union. Overwhelmingly did not do business. And yet we're treating China as if it's somehow this is almost semi-benevolent but different power. It's all for money? It just makes my stomach turn.
Unfortunately, it is, and that's why we're seeing business lobbies and the national security hawks battling it out in D.C. right now. In fact,
but hold on. I got to interrupt you. It's not just the national security hawks. This is a battle for the future of the world. I mean, our country versus China. That's it. That's for the whole shooting match. So I loved your book, but it's not just national security. This is human rights. This is economic dominance. This is every rare earth material. This is every precious metal. This is subjugation of humans on a scale we have not seen in decades and decades. This makes the apartheid regime, which was hideous and criminal, look modest compared to what's going on in China today. So it's
That's 100% right. And we have the reserve currency of the U.S. dollar at jeopardy, too. I mean, This is a very big issue, and it's something that Donald Trump and his administration and the Matt Pottinger and the Peter Navarros of the world really rang that alarm bell. And now it's suddenly starting to come alive, both on the left side of the aisle and on the right. And that's crucial because this is not a red or a blue issue.
You're right.
This is an American issue, and we need to address it united. Divided, we will not be able to do it. The CCP has 1.4 billion people that they have all on the exact same message. Here, we need to unite over this common challenge, this challenge that can unite us as Americans over human rights, over national security issues, over freedom of speech issues, over principles that we hold near and dear as Americans. We can unite, and we can create the leverage to push back, and we need to now.
Chris, thank you for that. It's great to have you on tonight. And